Yes, ma'am. The Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, Sister Frankie, is a 4-building school campus we purchased in Wilmington, Delaware on the 93rd anniversary of Black History Month. And that was February the 7th of 2019. It's been 2 years. We're in the process of renovating the campus right now. God willing, if all goes well, the Honorable Marcus Garvey Elementary School will be done at the end of the summer, and we will be holding a grand opening, unapologetically African Family First Festival and Conference. And once we're done renovating the Garvey Elementary School, we're going to go across the street to the Honorable Frederick Douglass High School and renovate that as well. And any of your viewers and listeners and supporters who would like to contribute to what we're doing, they can make their donations on the Cash App at $FDMG School. I repeat, $FDMG School on the Cash App, or they can go to drumarjohnson.com and join the Loyal Donors Club. $50 a month bronze, $100 silver, $250 gold, $500 platinum, and $1,000 a month diamond. We are an independent school, Sister Frankie. We are not charter. We are not public. The school will be 100% owned, operated, financed, and controlled by Black people.
And accredited?
Yes, ma'am. Well, your accreditation comes from the state. It is the state that gives you the authority to operate. That's the only accreditation you need to operate. You can voluntarily seek additional accreditations, which we probably won't do because I'm not interested in whether white people agree with what I'm teaching our children or not. I am intellectually.
But what you're teaching them, though, won't they need that? Because your school is going to run from what grade to what grade?
Ultimately, we're going to be from pre-K to 12, but we're going to start with 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and we'll grow up a grade and down a grade every year. But again, the only approval we need to operate is from the Delaware State Department of Education. I will not be looking for any white accreditation agency to tell me whether or not they think I'm doing a good job as a Black man teaching Black children. For parents who want white validation, white approval, and white accreditation, they should probably take their children somewhere else.
But even if that's, and I get that point, but even if that might be the point, when your children leave your school and go to the next level, they want their academic credentials to be accepted wherever they go, be it college or whatever the case might be. That's why I asked about accreditation.
Yeah, and once again, the state of Delaware is the only authority we must submit to in order for the children's grades to be considered legal and valid. The next level will be college, and our children will be more than prepared for that because as a psychologist, I know how tests are designed, I know how tests are created, and I will personally be teaching our children how to master the art of test taking. So we will be able to prove the quality of education that our children get when they score the highest, not only in the state of Delaware, but throughout the United States on college entry examinations. The proof will be in the pudding when it's time for them to make that transition to the next level.
All right, Dr. Stuckey said, nice. Looking forward to this opening. Long time coming. You did mention Delaware. So the school is going to be in Delaware. Will it take only Delaware students or students around the region?
No, ma'am. Because it is independent, we have no geographical boundary. As you know, Wilmington sits on a border of Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. So I'm happy to say that we will be educating Black boys from all 4 states. And we also have hundreds of parents who are planning to relocate to Delaware from around the country once the school opens because they want their sons to be able to access the curriculum that we're going to give them. In addition to math, science, language, and civics, sister, we will also be teaching them agricultural and agronomical science, dietary and nutritional science, military and political science, spiritual and astrological science, financial and economic science, science of the Black man, woman, and child. Every African student will have to recreate their family tree from scratch, and they cannot graduate unless they can recite all of their ancestors from memory. They will be investing in stocks. The minute they begin in school, they will all have a portfolio. They will leave with a business plan, and they will graduate getting their first loan from their business from the school itself.
Let me ask you this question listen, when we talk about education, we know that some of the statistics, and you may know some of the statistics even more than me, black, white, or other, but specifically that girls are going to higher education than boys for the most part, and not to separate the two, but even based on your book, can you just speak to the challenges, some of the successes of both boys and girls, and then some of the challenges in education today?
That's a great question, Sister Frankie. And let me say this. The fact that more black women are going to college than black boys is not a problem in and of itself. The question is, where are the boys going instead? If you were to tell me that more black boys were going into real estate school and going into stocks and trades and commodities schools and going into digital currency and blockchain schools, that's not a problem. If they're going into business for themselves, that's not a problem. If they're going into trade school to become carpenters, plumbers, electricians, welders, auto mechanics, roofers, that's not a problem either. The problem is so many of our boys are going into prison and into the cemetery. And if we want to stop them from going into the prison and into the cemetery, Sister Frankie, we have to redirect them into real estate, into financial exchange, and also into trade school. One of the worst things that happened in Black America during the 70s and 80s in response to the government's war against the Black Power movement was they deindustrialized the inner city, Frankie. That means they took out the carpentry, the plumbing, the electric programs from our inner city high schools. Before 1970, you didn't need a college education to get a good job. Our grandparents and great-grandparents knew how to work with their hands. And as a result of that, the reason the prisons are swelling up is we took all the building trades out, the skills that pay the bills. We sent everybody to college, and college is not guaranteed to provide you with a livable wage. We have 2 million African Americans right now with master's and doctorate degrees who are unemployed. We need to go back in time and go back to trade school. If we do not revive the interest in young black men towards trade school, we will only be sending them into prison. College is a trap. College is not an opportunity for most.
But you have a PhD and you received yours from college.
I have 6 degrees. I have 6 degrees, but guess what? I started college in 1992, Sister Frankie. I'm one of the last generations of African Americans for whom college was relevant. Once the 21st century came in, college was no longer as relevant anymore for African Americans. Remember, Sister Frankie, the education we get in college is only relevant if you're going to work for a white institution. Black people are not running around looking for engineers. Black people are not running around looking for psychologists. Black people are not running around looking for surgeons. Those people are employed by white institutions. So if we want to create independent economics, we have to send our children back to trade school, the skills that pay the bills.